Aye, we give you the facts. It's not what you think. Popeye Newsling, Young King, 1 yard, bless.
Good morning, Popeye. Grandma watch Popeyes every morning and every night.
Greetings viewers and subscribers. So when we start today's journey, we are going up the beach road in Negril. Now, the correct name for the beach road is Norman Manley Boulevard. I've also slowed down the video for your viewing pleasure. So when we start today's journey, sit back, relax and enjoy this journey with me. Now, PNL Patreon family, big up on yourself. And if you are not yet a member of the PNL Patreon family, click on the link in the description below. Go over to Patreon and sign up. That is the only instruction I can give you as to how to sign up. Only you can sign up for yourself on Patreon. I cannot assist. Now, over on Patreon, we drop contents that we cannot show on YouTube. Also, being a part of the PNL Patreon family is your way of supporting this channel. And for persons who want to support the channel without joining Patreon, because the contents might be too grimy for you, there is a PayPal link in the description. Also, pretty soon, I'll be adding a Cash App and Zelle link. Alright? Now, in this story, there's gonna be many twists and turns. It is important that you pay close attention. Every word in this story is very important. So, hear what? Hit on the love button from now. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, hit on the subscribe button as also. Hit on the notification bell, then click all, so that whenever we drop a new video, you will be the first to be notified. So, without further ado, look at that house on your screen. That house, it is situated at Lower River in the parish of Trelawny. That house is owned by a man. He's living in England. His nephew used to be living at that house and he was the caretaker for the house. That nephew, his name is Abejay Powell, but he's popularly known as Tehran. In March 2017, Tehran, he was 22 years old. Tehran used to be living in England, but he chooses to live in Jamaica at that house in Lower River. The reason was that Tehran, living at that house, he was living as a king. His uncle would send money from England all the time for the upkeep of the property. His uncle also had some high-end vehicles on the property to include an X5, etc. Tehran, he was living his best life. He was living in a mansion, not paying any bills. He didn't have to work and he had top-of-the-line vehicles to drive. Tehran got greedy and he started robbing his uncle. Tehran, he went to his uncle's mother and told her that her son, his uncle, said she should give him, Tehran, 800,000 Jamaican dollars to do some work on a pavement in the yard that was breaking away. The mother had no reason to doubt Tehran because he was the caretaker for the property and she had given him more than $800,000 in the past to do work on the property. Tehran, he got the money from his uncle's mother, but what he did was he went and bought a car with the money. Someone had told him about a deal where he could buy a car for a cheap price. Tehran conned his uncle's mother, got the money and purchased the car. Now, when Tehran carried the papers he was given for the vehicle and went to the tax office to transfer the vehicle, the papers were found to be all fake. As it turned out, the car was a stolen motor vehicle. Now, I'm not sure what happened to the car, but Tehran, he ended up the loser because after he pulled off that scam, his uncle cut him off as far as giving him money to do business for him was concerned. The uncle, he still allowed Tehran to be living at the house. I missed out an important detail. It was Tehran and one of his cousins who were first living and staying at the house. But we are told that Tehran, he wanted to control everything. So what he did was he fight against his cousin. Now in Jamaica, we don't say fight against. We say fight against. So it is said that Tehran, he fight against his cousin. As a result, the cousin got fed up and left the house. The cousin, he still lived near to the house, about a minute or two away. Listen to this now. Listen to this. This is very important. In the yard were some pit bulls. No one could enter the yard unless that cousin or Tehran accompanied them into the yard. So Tehran, he was now in his uncle's black book as far as handling his money is concerned or was concerned. But the pavement in the yard was breaking away and needed fixing. The uncle, he got a number for another relative. Now if you look on your screen, that's the best photo we could get of that relative. His name is Otis Patrick, also known as Rooney. In March 2017, Rooney, he was 31 years old. He was the father of 4. Rooney was a very hard working man. He was a mason. He was a contractor. Now, Rooney, he's originally from Lower River, but at a tender age, he was relocated to the parish of St. Mary. In early 2017, someone told Tehran's uncle that his cousin Rooney is a very good and honest mason, so he could ask him to do the job on fixing the pavement. The uncle contacted Rooney and Rooney said yes, he would do the job, but he would have to go to the house to do an estimate. The uncle in England, he didn't tell his nephew Tehran, who was at the house, what his plans were. What the uncle did was he arranged with the other cousin, yeah man, that one who was living there before, to go to the house with Rooney. Remember now, no one could enter the yard without Tehran and that cousin because of the pit bulls. So on a day when Tehran was not at home, Rooney and that cousin, they went to the yard. Rooney took his measurement and did his estimate. Now, Rooney, he passed on the estimate to the uncle who is living in England, and they both agreed at a price to get the job done. Now, sometime in February 2017, Tehran was at a party where he met a young lady. He and this young lady, they started dating, and the young lady, she started coming to see Tehran from time to time at the house. Yes man, the mansion. The cousin who used to live at the house before, where he was now living. The young lady would have to pass his house to go and visit Tehran at the mansion. The cousin, he would walk with the young lady to the house and assisted her to go inside of the house because of the pit bulls. Remember what I just told you. It is important. Now, on the afternoon of Saturday, March 25, 2017, Rooney, he left his home where he lived with his baby mother and 2 children. He told them that he would be back in a few weeks' time. That was the last time Rooney's family saw him alive. Now, Rooney, he arrived at Lower River in Trelawny that Saturday evening, March 25, 2017. He had his pet dog and a suitcase packed with clothes. He stopped at the cousin and the cousin followed him to the house. When they reached the house, Abejay Powell, otherwise called Tehran, and that hoodlum on your screen, his name is Demetrius, but he's popularly known as Socket. He was 27 years old in March 2017. Both Tehran and Socket, they were in the house, and they were surprised to see Rooney coming in the house with his pet dog and his suitcase packed with clothes. Right away, they concluded that Rooney, he was here to stay for a long time. So the cousin, he left the house, and that was the last time anyone would have seen Rooney alive. Well, except for Socket and Tehran. Boy, may I tell you. Now, remember I told you that whenever the female was coming to the house to see Tehran, she would stop at the cousin who would accompany her to the house, Well, Tehran, he called her at minutes to 10 o'clock and told her not to stop at the cousin when she was coming on that night. Saturday, March 25, he told her that he would let her into the house. The female, she found this strange, but she didn't question it. And if you noticed, I'm not using the word allegations, and you'll soon know why. At minutes to 11 o'clock that night, the female reached at the house. She was accompanied by a female friend. Now, as they were entering the house, again, something suspicious was observed. There was a glass door at the front of the house. It was observed that there was a big towel covering the glass. When they went into the house, there was a strong smell of disinfectant and bleach on the downstairs of the house. Tehran and Saket, they were in the house, and when the young lady who was dating Tehran and her friend were in the house, it was observed that both Tehran and Saket were whispering to each other a lot. Now, both females, they went to bed. It was observed that early the next morning, Sunday, March 26, Tehran and his friend Saket, they were up very early. The female got up and wanted to do some cleaning in the house. When she asked Tehran for the map, he told her that the pit bulls were fighting and they bite up each other. He told her that he had used the map to wipe up the blood and threw the map away. Days passed. The two females were still at the house, but then they started hearing some whisperings about Rooney. Remember now, these two females, they had no idea that Rooney was at the house before they reached there. The female who Tehran was dating, her family is living in an eastern parish. This female, she left Trelawny and went to visit her family. A day after she reached at her family, Tehran came there. They both went to river, and while they were in the river, she asked Tehran what had happened to Rooney. Tehran confessed. Tehran told her that he stood behind Rooney and used an illegal gun owned by his friend Saket to shoot Rooney in the back of his head. He said he and Saket picked up Rooney and hurriedly put him at the back of the house before she and her friend came there. He told her that there was a lot of blood in the house and he and Saket used disinfectant and bleach to clean it up. He told her that early the next morning, he and Saket, they dug a hole in the backyard and buried Rooney in the hole. Tehran, he threatened the female and told her that if she repeated what he told her to anyone, he was gonna kill her. But guess what? The female told someone, and that someone told someone else, and someone told the police. This is part 1. In part 2, you're gonna hear how the police cracked this case. You're gonna hear how the female witness stayed away and could not be found for 5.5 years. You're gonna hear how and why she magically appeared in court, and even when she appeared, what almost happened in court. And if you look on your screen, there is where Tehran and Saket buried Rooney, at the back of the yard. Now, I wanted to drop part 1 this morning and part 2 this evening, but I won't be dropping part 2 later, and this is why. Abejay Powell, also known as Tehran, he was found guilty for murder in the Trelawny Circuit Court 2 weeks ago. The matter was put off for sentencing yesterday, March 16, in the parish of St. James. However, sentencing was again put off until Tuesday, March 21. Now, I'll be dropping the part 2 if and when sentence is passed on Tuesday, March 21. You think you hear nothing yet? You really think you hear anything yet? Stand by for part 2. The mayhem continues. Blessed love, everybody.
Tell a friend, for tell a friend, for tell a friend about Popeye Newslink and PNL Blog TV. Like, subscribe and share. Quicksilver sing, if we just unite, what a country this will be. If we just unite, Jamaica live in unity. If we just unite, what a country this will be. If we just unite, Jamaica live in unity. Hey, crime it a mash up Jamaica. Criminals them a mash up Jamaica. Jamaicans mash up Jamaica. Oh Jamaica, me sweet Jamaica. Crime it a mash up Jamaica. Criminals them a mash up Jamaica. Jamaicans mash up Jamaica. Oh Jamaica, me sweet Jamaica. I coulda sunshine or rain. Jamaica, no problem, no pain. Rude boy them knock out can't tame, but me want me country back. Give me country back. To the street and the lane. Everybody them start complain. Bloodshed, what a shame, but me want me country back. Give me country back. Crime it a mash up Jamaica. Criminals them a mash up Jamaica. Jamaicans mash up Jamaica. Oh Jamaica, me sweet Jamaica. Crime it a mash up Jamaica. Criminals them a